The crumpled paper slipped from my fingers like a live wire, scorching my skin even as it fluttered to the hardwood floor of our quiet Seattle kitchen. Brooke's handwriting, those looping letters I'd once teased her about being too artistic, spelled out words that shattered the fragile peace I'd built after marrying her father. Elena, I can't pretend anymore. Every night, I dream of your touch, not as a daughter, but as the woman who owns my heart. My breath caught, the world tilting, because in that instant, I realized the secret she'd hidden wasn't just hers. It was the echo of desires I'd buried deeper than my own grave. I should have burned it. Should have pretended I'd never rifled through her backpack that rainy Tuesday afternoon, looking for nothing more than a lost grocery list. But as the rain hammered the windows like accusations, I sank to my knees, the note clutched in my fist, and for the first time in years, allowed myself to remember the warmth of her laughter, the way her hand brushed mine during family dinners, innocent then, electric now. Brooke, my stepdaughter of 3 years, the girl who'd blossomed from a sullen teen into a fierce young woman with dreams bigger than our modest craftsman home. How'd I miss the storm brewing in her eyes? That night, as thunder rolled over Puget Sound, I lay awake in the bed I'd shared with her father before his accident took him from us last winter, the emptiness beside me a cruel reminder of losses piled high. Grief had woven us closer, Brooke and I, two women navigating the wreckage of a family fractured by fate. I'd become her anchor, cooking her favorite clam chowder on bad days, listening to her vent about college applications to the University of Washington, her passion for environmental art spilling out like wild vines. But now, with her confessions searing my mind, every memory twisted, the way she'd linger in the doorway of my studio, watching me paint seascapes with a gaze that held too much hunger, or how she'd curl up on the couch during movie nights, her head on my shoulder, her breath sinking with mine in the dark. By morning, the note was tucked into my journal, a forbidden talisman, and Brooke shuffled into the kitchen in her oversized hoodie, hair tousled from sleep, those hazel eyes avoiding mine as she poured coffee. "Morning, Elena," she murmured, voice soft as fog off the sound, but there was a tremor, a crack in her armor that mirrored my own racing heart. I wanted to confront her, to demand answers, but the words lodged in my throat like shards of glass. Instead, I slid a plate of pancakes across the counter, blueberry, her favorite, and watched her fingers tremble as she reached for the syrup. The day dragged, heavy with unspoken truths. I drove her to her part-time job at the local bookstore in Capitol Hill, the streets slick with autumn leaves, radio humming indie folk tunes that suddenly felt too intimate. "You okay?" she asked, glancing sideways, her profile sharp against the gray sky, high cheekbones inherited from her mother, lips full and unpainted, a quiet beauty that had turned heads since she turned 18 last spring. I nodded, gripping the will tighter, the leather creaking under my palms. "Just thinking about Dad." I lied, the ghost of my husband a convenient shield. Her face softened, grief flickering like a candle in wind. "Me too. But we've got each other, right?" The question hung, laced with something deeper, and I nearly swerved into the curb. At work, surrounded by canvases half-finished in my home studio, I tried to lose myself in brushstrokes, ocean blues bleeding into stormy grays, but Brooke's words haunted me. "I dream of your touch." God, what had I done to invite this? I'd married Richard 5 years ago, a widower with a teenage daughter, drawn to his steady kindness after my own string of failed relationships with men who saw my independence as a challenge. Elena Vasquez, 42, artist by trade, survivor by necessity, divorced once, childless, I'd stepped into this role with open arms, loving Brooke as my own from the start. But love, I was learning, had a way of shifting shapes in the dark. When she got home that evening, soaked from a sudden downpour, I handed her a towel without thinking, my fingers grazing her wrist. She froze, water dripping from her lashes, and in that suspended moment, our eyes locked, hers wide with fear and fire, mine reflecting the same forbidden spark. "Brooke," I whispered, voice breaking, "we need to talk." Her nod was barely perceptible, but she followed me to the living room, where the fireplace crackled against the chill, casting shadows that danced like secrets finally set free. She perched on the edge of the armchair, knees drawn up, looking smaller than her 5 feet 6 inches frame, her damp clothes clinging in ways that made my cheeks burn. I sat across from her on the sofa, the note burning a hole in my pocket. "I found something today," I started, pulling it out, the paper unfolding like a confession in church. Her face drained of color, eyes dropping to her hands twisted in her lap. "Elena, I'm sorry. I never meant for you to see it. It was stupid, just feelings I couldn't shake." Feelings. The word hung between us, heavy as the rain outside. "Tell me," I urged, leaning forward, my heart a drumbeat in my chest. "All of it." And so she did, words tumbling out like a dam breaking. How it started innocently, admiration for the woman who'd held their family together after her mother's death, then deepened during those long nights after Richard's car crash, when we'd clung to each other in the hospital waiting room, her tears soaking my shirt. "You are so strong," she said, voice raw, "but I saw the pain in your eyes, and I wanted to fix it, to be the one who made you smile again. And somewhere along the way, it turned into this. Wanting you. Not like a mom. Like more." Her admission cracked something in me, a wall I'd built around my own hidden truths. I'd always known I was fluid, drawn to women in my youth before societal pressures steered me toward safer paths. But with Brooke, it was a wildfire, terrifying in its intensity. "I shouldn't feel this," she continued, tears spilling now. "You're my stepmom. It's wrong. But I can't stop. Every time you're near, it's like breathing underwater, desperate, alive." I crossed the room in 2 strides, kneeling before her, taking her hands in mine, cold, trembling. "Brooke, listen to me. This isn't wrong. It's human. Messy, yes, but real." My thumbs stroked her knuckles, the simple touch igniting sparks that raced at my arms. She lifted her gaze, searching mine, and in that vulnerability, I saw her, not as Richard's daughter, but as Brooke, artist, dreamer, woman on the cusp of her world. We talked until the fire died to embers, peeling back layers of fear and longing. She confessed to crushes on girls at school, hidden kisses in the back of the library, the isolation of not fitting the mold her conservative extended family expected. I shared my own stories, first love with a college roommate in San Francisco, the heartbreak of denial, the quiet ache of loving women in a world that whispered shame. By midnight, the air between us hummed with possibility, a tentative bridge over the chasm of taboo. But dawn brought reality crashing back. As she headed upstairs to change, her shoulder brushed mine in the hallway, and the contact lingered too long, her scent, rain and vanilla, wrapping around me like a promise. I retreated to my studio, heart pounding, vowing to set boundaries. Yet when she knocked later, holding 2 mugs of chamomile tea, her smile shy but determined, I let her in. "Can we try being honest?" she asked, settling on the stool by my easel. "No more secrets?" Honesty. It became our fragile pact, woven into the fabric of our days. Mornings started with shared breakfasts where she'd sketch ideas for her portfolio while I sipped coffee, our conversations drifting from light, her latest crush on a barista at the bookstore, to profound, unpacking the grief that bound us. Evenings, we'd walk the misty paths of Discovery Park, salt air filling our lungs, her arm linking mine for warmth, each step a test of restraint. Yet tension simmered, unspoken electricity in every glance. One night, during a power outage from the storm, candles flickering like stars fallen indoors, we played cards by lamplight, laughter bubbling up for the first time in months. Her foot nudged mine under the table, accidental at first, then deliberate, a toe tracing my ankle, sending heat coiling low in my belly. I pulled away, but not before catching the flush on her cheeks, the way her breath hitched. The breaking point came 2 weeks later, on a crisp October Saturday. Richard's birthday would have been that day, and we'd planned a quiet vigil at his grave in Lakeview Cemetery, overlooking the Sound. Brooke arrived home from a campus tour flushed and excited, chattering about the art program, but her eyes held shadows. "I told my advisor about us," she blurted over lunch, fork pausing midair.
"Not
"Everything. Just that you're like a mom, but more." She said family can be whatever we make it. Pride swelled in my chest, mingled with fear. "And how did that feel?" I asked, reaching across the table to squeeze her hand. Her fingers laced with mine, holding on.
"Free.
But scared. What if they take you away from me?" The vulnerability in her voice undid me. That afternoon, as leaves crunched underfoot on our walk to the cemetery, she slipped her hand into mine fully, palm warm against my chill, and I didn't pull away. At the gravesite, under a canopy of maples turning fiery red, we stood shoulder to shoulder, wind whipping our scarves. She placed a single wildflower on the stone, daisies his favorite, and whispered, "Thanks for bringing her into my life, Dad." Turning to me, tears glistening, she cupped my face with both hands, thumbs brushing my cheekbones. "I love you, Elena. Not just gratitude. Love." The world narrowed to her eyes, that hazel storm pulling me under. I leaned in, foreheads touching, breaths mingling. "I love you too, Brooke. More than I should. More than I can deny." Our lips met then, soft as the first raindrop, tentative, then deepening with a hunger we'd both starved for. It was a kiss born of grief and grace, salty with tears, sweet with surrender. A moment where family lines blurred into something sacred, new. We pulled apart gasping, hands still tangled, the sound of distant traffic a reminder of the world waiting to judge. "What now?" she whispered, voice trembling with hope and terror. I smiled through my own tears, tracing the curve of her jaw. "Now we figured out. Together. But slowly. For us." That night, back home, we cooked dinner side by side, pasta with fresh basil from the windowsill garden, our hips bumping in the narrow kitchen, laughter lightening the air. As we ate on the porch, stars pricking the velvet sky, she rested her head on my shoulder, and I wrapped an arm around her waist, feeling the steady rise and fall of her breathing sync with mine. It wasn't passion yet, not fully, just the quiet bloom of acceptance, a love taking root in the ruins. But love like ours was never destined to be simple. The next morning, a call from Brooke's aunt, Richard's sister, visiting from Portland, shattered the idyll. "Family meeting," she announced over speakerphone, tone clipped. "We need to discuss Brooke's future. And yours, Elena. Things have been unstable since Richard." Her words dripped with implication, the kind that came from overhearing whispers at the funeral, from seeing how close we'd grown. Brooke's face paled across the table, fork clattering to her plate. "Tell her no," she mouthed, but I waved her silent, heart sinking. "Of course, Margaret." When? By evening, the house felt like a stage set for confrontation, the air thick with anticipation. Margaret arrived with her husband, arms laden with casseroles. "Comfort food," she said, eyes scanning the space as if cataloging evidence of our dysfunction. Dinner was a minefield. Small talk about weather and work devolved into probes. How was Brooke handling college apps? Was I managing the household alone? Margaret's gaze lingered on the sketch Brooke had taped to the fridge, a portrait of me, laughing, captured in pencil strokes that revealed too much intimacy. "That's lovely," she said, voice tight. "But Brooke, honey, you should be focusing on boys your age. Not idolizing Elena." The word hung like smoke. Brooke stiffened beside me, her thigh pressing against mine under the table, a silent alliance. "I don't idolize her," she said evenly, though her voice shook. "She's family. More than that, she's my partner in this mess." Margaret's fork paused, eyes narrowing. "Partner? What on earth?" I intervened, hand finding Brooke's under the cloth, squeezing. "Margaret, let's be clear. Richard's gone, and we've grieved. Leaned on each other. If that looks different than what you expect, that's our truth. Her husband's cough was awkward, but Margaret leaned forward, face hardening. Truth? Elena, you're twice her age. She's confused, vulnerable. This isn't healthy. I'm talking to a lawyer about guardianship. The threat landed like a slap. Brooke shoved back from the table, chair scraping, eyes blazing. You don't get to decide my life. Elena's the only one who's ever seen me, really seen me. She stormed upstairs, door slamming, leaving silence in her wake. Margaret sighed. See? Unstable. But I stood, calm as a gathering storm. Leave, Margaret.
Now.
Brooke's an adult. And our bond? It's stronger than your judgments. They left in a huff, tires squealing on the wet driveway. I found Brooke curled on her bed, sobs muffled in her pillow, the room a sanctuary of posters, Frida Kahlo, ocean waves, a rainbow flag tucked in the corner. I sat beside her, rubbing circles on her back. I'm sorry, she whispered. I ruined it. No, I said fiercely, tilting her chin up. You were brave. We're in this together. That vulnerability pulled us closer. As her tears slowed, she shifted, face inches from mine, and this time, the kiss was hungrier, hands exploring with tentative fire, fingers in hair, palms on waists, breaths ragged. We tumbled back onto the bed, a tangle of limbs and whispers, boundaries dissolving in the heat. It was her first time with a woman, she confessed later, shy and wondrous, and I guided her with the reverence of someone rediscovering her own skin. Love, we learned, was a language of touches, the arch of her back under my lips, the gasp when my fingers traced her thighs, the way she bloomed open like a secret garden. Afterward, wrapped in sheets scented with us, she traced patterns on my collarbone. Is this real? Or will they take it away? I kissed her forehead, fierce. It's ours. And we'll fight for it. But doubt lingered, a shadow in the moonlight. The weeks blurred into a stolen paradise. Mornings tangled in bed, her head on my chest, listening to my heartbeat like a lullaby. Afternoons, she dragged me to her art class at the community center, where we'd sneak kisses behind easels, paint smudged on cheeks like war paint. Evenings, walks hand in hand through Pike Place Market, fingers intertwined, ignoring stares, because in Seattle's progressive embrace, our love felt possible, a quiet revolution. Yet cracks formed. Brooke's college acceptance came, UW, full ride, and with it, the terror of separation. What if distance changes us? She fretted one night, curled against me as rain pattered the roof. I held her tighter. Distance tests, but doesn't break. We'll visit, call. Build something unbreakable. But privately, fear not. At 42, with my stalled career and mortgage, was I holding her back? Margaret's meddling escalated. Letters from a concerned relative arrived, veiled threats of contesting Richard's will, painting me as unfit. Then, the anonymous email to Brooke's advisor. Inappropriate relationship with guardian. Rumors swirled at the bookstore, whispers following her shifts. One evening, she came home bruised, not physically, but in spirit, colleagues' sidelong glances cutting deep. They think I'm a phase, she cried into my shoulder. Or worse, that you're preying on me. Rage boiled in me, hot and protective. The next day, I marched into the bookstore, chin high, and pulled her into the back room. Listen, I said, cupping her face. They don't know us. Our love, it's not a scandal. It's survival. Joy in the ashes. She nodded, but tears fell. That night, we made love with a ferocity born of defiance, bodies claiming what words couldn't. You are mine. We are enough. Crisis peaked mid-November, fog cloaking the city like a shroud. Margaret filed papers, temporary guardianship, citing emotional instability. A social worker visited, clipboard in hand, eyes probing our home for signs of impropriety. Brooke answered questions with quiet steel. Elena's my rock. We've lost so much. Don't take this too. I echoed her, voice steady, sharing photos of our life, smiling at holidays, hiking trails, her art beside my paintings. The worker left non-committal, but the damage festered. In the aftermath, Brooke withdrew, sketching furiously in isolation, her once bright eyes shadowed. "Maybe we should end it," she murmured one gray afternoon, charcoal smudging her fingers black. "For your sake." My heart fractured.
No.
Ending us would kill me slower. I pulled her into my lap, rocking her like a child, though she was woman now, fierce and fragile. "We'll go public. On our terms." So we did. A letter to Margaret, CC to family. "Brooke and I are in love. Not as mother and daughter, but as partners. Judge if you must, but know this. Our family is redefined by choice, not blood." Then Brooke's Instagram post, a photo of us at the waterfront, hands linked, caption, "Love doesn't follow scripts. Queer family stepmom love." Likes poured in, messages of support from old friends, even her college advisor. "Proud of you both." Backlash came swift, Margaret's furious call, blocked, Aunt's unfriending, a brick through our window one night, shattering glass and illusion of safety. Police report filed, but fear took root. "We can't stay," Brooke said, packing boxes with trembling hands. "Not here, not like this." We fled south, to San Francisco, my old haunt, city of rainbows and reinvention. A tiny apartment in the Castro, walls papered with our art, but a nest of shared dreams. Brooke deferred a semester, taking online classes while interning at a queer art collective. I sold paintings online, themes shifting to portraits of us, entwined figures against stormy seas, symbols of resilience. Months healed wounds. Spring brought pride, and we marched hand in hand, rainbow flags waving, Brooke's laughter free as we danced to bass-thumping floats. That night, under the glow of streetlights, she dropped to one knee, not with a ring, but a sketched vow on canvas. "Marry me?" "Not legally. Not yet, but in our world." Tears streamed as I pulled her up, kissing her breathless.
"Yes."
1,000 times. Years folded forward. Brooke graduated, her thesis a mural of queer family stories, unveiled at a gallery where Margaret, invited, uninvited herself, stood in the back, eyes wet, whispering, "I was wrong. Be happy." Forgiveness bloomed slow, but it did, in holiday cards and tentative calls. Now, at 45, I watch Brooke, 24, paint beside me in our home overlooking the bay, her belly just beginning to round with our child, adopted dreams made real through IVF and love's alchemy. The note? Framed on our mantle, faded but cherished, a spark that ignited our forever. In the quiet moments, her head on my lap, I trace the lines of her face and think, from secret to sacrament, our love proved that family isn't given, it's chosen, fought for, and, in the end, the most human thing we are. The canvas before me bled with colors I couldn't control, crimson fury slashing across azure calm, mirroring the chaos in my chest as Brooke's words echoed like a siren's call. We'd returned from San Francisco for a summer visit, the pull of unresolved threads too strong to ignore, but now, with her hand in mine under the gallery lights, I wondered if we'd invited the storm. Margaret's apology had been a whisper, fragile as rice paper, and as the crowd milled around Brooke's mural, a sprawling tapestry of intertwined women, shadows giving way to light, her aunt approached, glass of Chardonnay trembling in her grip. "Elena," Margaret said, voice pitched low, eyes darting to Brooke across the room, charming patrons with her easy smile. I see it now. The way she looks at you. It's not confusion. It's real." The admission hung, laced with regret, and for a moment, I saw the woman who'd lost her brother too, grief etching lines around her mouth. I nodded, throat tight. It took time.
But yes.
Real as the air we breathe. She glanced at the mural, where a central figure, unmistakably Brooke, young and fierce, embraced an older silhouette, hands clasped in defiance. I thought I was protecting her. From scandal, from pain. But I caused more. Her hand reached out, hesitant, and I took it, the squeeze brief but binding. "Join us for dinner?" I offered, surprising myself. Brooke caught my eye from afar, brow quirking in question, and I nodded. Yes, this bridge will cross it. Dinner at a waterfront bistro was tentative, forks clinking against plates of Dungeness crab, conversations skirting edges like crabs scuttling on sand. Brooke, ever the peacemaker, shared stories of her internship, mentoring queer youth in art therapy, turning pain into pigment. Margaret listened, thawing, even laughing at Brooke's tale of a disastrous paint fight with colleagues. "You always were messy," she said fondly, and Brooke grinned. "Takes one to know one, Aunt Em." As plates cleared, wine loosening tongues, Margaret turned to me. "Richard would have struggled, but he'd want you happy." Tears pricked her eyes, and Brooke's hand found mine under the table, anchoring. "He brought us together," Brooke said softly, "and we made it our own." By night's end, hugs exchanged, awkward, but genuine, and as Margaret drove off into the dusk, Brooke leaned into me on the pier, waves lapping below. "That was huge," she murmured. "Healing." We made love that night in our old bed, bodies familiar yet electric, her gasps a symphony against the hum of the city. Fingers mapping scars, hers from childhood falls, mine from life's sharper cuts, whispers of "I love you" weaving through sweat-slicked skin. Afterward, tangled and sated, she traced my wedding band, Richard's, resized for her finger now, a relic repurposed. "Think we'll ever make it official?" she asked, voice dreamy. I kissed her temple. "When the world catches up. Till then, this is enough." Summer deepened, days a blur of sun-dappled hikes and midnight confessions. Brooke's belly grew, a gentle swell under loose tees, our child a kicking secret that turned strangers' stares into smiles. We'd chosen adoption after fertility struggles, IVF a roller coaster of hopes dashed, but now, with papers signed and home study passed, anticipation thrummed like a live wire. "What if I'm not ready to be a mom?" Brooke fretted one afternoon, hand on her bump, a pillow prop for practice, eyes wide with that familiar vulnerability. I pulled her close on the porch swing, rocking gently, the scent of lavender from the garden soothing. "You're already the heart of our family. This little one, lucky beyond words." She relaxed into me, head on my shoulder, and we dreamed aloud, names like Jordan or Riley, nursery murals of oceans and stars. But beneath the joy, shadows lingered. My age, the whispers of step that society still clung to, the fear that our unconventional path might scar our child. A call from the agency shattered the idyll mid-July. "Your match is here. A baby girl, born yesterday. Mom chose you." Time suspended. Brooke's scream of joy echoed through the house, and we wept, packing a hospital bag with frantic hands, tiny onesies, a blanket knitted by Margaret, her olive branch. The drive to Tacoma felt eternal, rain slicking the windshield like tears of release. At the hospital, sterile halls gave way to a room bathed in soft light. The mother, a weary 22-year-old named Mia, eyes hollow with resolve, cradling our daughter. "She's perfect," Mia whispered, placing the bundle in Brooke's arms. Lily, named for the wildflowers on Richard's grave, had Brooke's hazel eyes, a tuft of dark hair like mine, tiny fists waving as if greeting the world. Brooke's face crumpled, love instantaneous, fierce. "Hi, baby," she cooed, voice breaking. I wrapped arms around them both, our triad complete, and in that moment, every secret note, every stolen kiss, every battle one led here, to family, forged in fire. Nights blurred into a rhythm of feedings and whispers, Lily's cries a lullaby we learned together. Brooke, ever the artist, sketched her in charcoal, chubby cheeks, rosebud mouth, while I handled the practical, rocking her through colic storms. Sleepless but soaring, we trade shifts, collapsing into bed at dawn, bodies spooned around the bassinet. "We're doing this," Brooke murmured one morning, Lily nursing at her breast, formula-fed, but the bond unbreakable. Us three, against the world. Challenges arose as they do. Sleeplessness frayed tempers. A leaked photo from Pride resurfaced in tabloid whispers. Lesbian stepfamily adopts. Drawing trolls online. Brooke shielded our profiles, but the sting lingered. One evening, as Lily fussed, Brooke snapped, "Why can't we just be normal?" I paused, bottle in hand, heart aching. Normal's overrated, love. We're extraordinary. Apologies came swift, wrapped in takeout tie and foot rubs, laughter returning with Lily's first gummy smile. We saw community, a queer parents group in the Castro, playdates where other non-traditional families shared war stories. There, Brooke thrived, her murals expanding to include Lily's handprints, colors vibrant with new life. Autumn brought change. A gallery offer for Brooke in New York, a 6-month residency. Go, I urged, though fear clawed my gut. Leaving Lily, leaving me. We'll FaceTime. Fly out weekends. She hesitated, eyes searching mine. You're sure? I kissed her, deep and sure. For your dreams? Always. The airport goodbye was tear-streaked, Lily gurgling obliviously in her carrier. 6 months. Brooke promised, lips lingering on mine. Then home. But home shifted. Alone with Lily, I rediscovered solitude's sharp edges, nights staring at the ceiling, missing Brooke's warmth. Letters arrived, handwritten like her old note, sketches of cityscapes with notes. Miss your laugh. Lily's first tooth? Tell me everything. Video calls bridged gaps, Brooke's face pixelated but beaming, stories of subway muses and gallery critiques spilling out. I painted us, she said one night, holding up her phone to a canvas, 3 figures hand in hand, against a skyline that blended Seattle fog and Manhattan lights. Our story. Indelible. Winter solstice. She flew back unannounced, snow dusting her coat as she burst through the door. Lily squealed, arms outstretched, and Brooke scooped her up, spinning until dizzy. Then, to me, I turned it down. The residency. New York's not home without you too. Relief crashed over me, and we tumbled to the floor in a heap of limbs and laughter, Lily's giggles the soundtrack. That Christmas, with Margaret joining us, bearing gifts and genuine smiles, we strung lights on a tree heavy with ornaments, Richard's fishing lures, Brooke's childhood baubles, Lily's first handprint star. As carols played, Brooke pulled me aside in the kitchen, mistletoe dangling forgotten. Marry me. For real. California recognizes us now. Her ring, a simple band etched with waves, slid onto my finger, fitting like destiny. Our wedding was small, on a cliffside overlooking the Pacific. Vows exchanged at sunset, Lily flower girl in a tiny tux, Margaret matron of honor, tearful toast in hand. To love that defies, she said, clinking glasses. Brooke's eyes, locked on mine, held the universe. You found my note, and it found us. Years later, Lily at 5, asking, why 2 moms? We'd show her the framed note, now a family heirloom. Because love writes its own story, Brooke would say, and I'd add, and we read every word. In the end, our tale wasn't drama's climax, but its quiet coda. 2 women, bound by loss, liberated by truth, building a legacy of courage. From secret scribbles to sacred rings, we proved that the heart's grammar knows no bounds, only the infinite ways to say, I choose you. Lily's laughter echoed through the house like wind chimes in a breeze, a sound that still caught me off guard with its pure joy, even after 7 years of motherhood's whirlwind. Brooke was in the kitchen, hip cocked against the counter, stirring pancake batter while our daughter, now a whirlwind of pigtails and curiosity, chased the family cat in endless loops around the island. Mama B. Catch Mr. Whiskers. Lily squealed, her gap-toothed grin flashing as the tabby darted under the table. Brooke scooped her up mid-stride, flour dusting both their noses, and planted a raspberry on her belly, eliciting peals that made my heart swell. I watched from the doorway, coffee mug warm in my hands, the morning sun slanting through windows we'd replaced after that long-ago brick. At 49, lines etched my face like brushstrokes on canvas, crow's feet from squinting at horizons, both literal and metaphorical, but in moments like this, time felt generous, a canvas we'd painted bold. Brooke caught my eye over Lily's head, her smile that secret one. The one that said, "Remember the note?" This is what it led to. I crossed the room, kissing her temple, inhaling the scent of vanilla and home. "Breakfast brigade, assemble," Brooke announced, plating stacks fluffy as clouds. We ate at the scarred oak table, Lily regaling us with kindergarten tales, finger paints gone awry, a playground romance with Timmy who shares crayons. Brooke's brow arched playfully at me. Our girl's a heartbreaker already. I chuckled, but inside, a pang. How to guide her through a world still prickly with judgments, when our own path had been thorns. School drop-off was a ritual. Brooke driving, me waving from the porch, Lily's backpack bouncing like a frog. Then, solitude. Brooke to her studio downtown, murals commissioned for community centers, me to mine, easels crowded with seascapes that now wove in domestic motifs, silhouettes of three against crashing waves. Sales ticked up, enough for that dream trip to Hawaii, but success felt secondary to the life we'd carved. Afternoon brought the curveball, a letter in the mail, crisp envelope from a Portland law firm. Margaret's handwriting on the return address. My stomach knotted as I slid it open. Updates on her health, a bequest in her will, but tucked inside, a yellowed photo, Richard and baby Brooke at the beach, waves lapping their toes. A note attached for Lily. Tell her about her grandpa. Love, Aunt M. Tears blurred the image. Margaret's cancer diagnosis, whispered last Christmas, had been a quiet thief, stealing strength but not spirit. Brooke came home early, sensing my mood like she always did. "What's this?" she asked, sliding beside me on the couch, Lily napping upstairs. I handed her the envelope, watching her face cycle through surprise to sorrow. She wants to meet Lily.
Properly.
Before. Her voice trailed, hand finding mine. We sat in silence, the weight of forgiveness's long arc pressing down. The visit was scheduled for weekend, Portland neutral ground. We drove the familiar route, I-5 unfolding like a ribbon through evergreens, Lily chattering from her booster. Is Great Nem nice? Does she have cookies? Brooke squeezed my thigh from the passenger seat. The best kind. And stories about your mommy when she was little. Lily beamed, oblivious to undercurrents. Margaret's bungalow smelled of cinnamon and old books, her frame frail in the armchair, but eyes sharp as ever. Come here, Sprout, she beckoned Lily, who climbed into her lap without hesitation, drawn to the softness of yarn afghans and the glint of costume jewelry. Cookies appeared, oatmeal raisin, still warm, and stories flowed. Richard's fishing mishaps, Brooke's toddler tantrums over mismatched socks. Lily hung on every word, then piped up, Mama E says Grandpa's in the stars. Can I draw him one? Paper and crayons materialized, Lily's tongue peeking as she scribbled a starry sky with a stick-figure fisherman. Margaret watched, tears tracking silently, then turned to us. Thank you, she rasped, for letting me in. After everything. Brooke knelt, taking her hand. Family's a circle, and room for all. Hugs lingered, promises of more visits, and as we left, Lily clutching her drawing, Margaret called out, You're the family he dreamed of. The drive home was lighter, windows down, wind tousling Lily's hair. That was fun, she declared, asleep before the bridge. Brooke laced fingers with mine over the console. Healing's not linear, is it? I shook my head, but worth every twist. That night, after bedtime stories, we slipped into the hot tub on the deck, steam rising like prayers, stars wheeling overhead. Her body against mine, water lapping gentle, we made slow love, fingers teasing, lips mapping familiar terrain, reaffirming in whispers what words sometimes failed. Fall turned to winter, Margaret's visits monthly now, her stories filling gaps in Lily's heritage. But loss came swift. A call in January, Brooke answering while I bathed Lily, her voice cracking over the line. She's gone. We flew to Portland for the funeral, Lily in her best dress, clutching a daisy chain. The service was small, eulogies laced with regret and redemption. Margaret's final letter read aloud. I learned late, but I learned. Love like yours? It's the truest kind. Back home, grief settled soft, a blanket we shared. Lily drew Aunt Em in heaven with Grandpa, pinning it beside the note on the mantel. Brooke's art poured out, tributes in ochre and indigo, exhibited in a local show titled Circles of Us. Opening night, crowds swelled, critics praising the raw humanity. But for us, it was catharsis. Brooke's hand in mine, Lily on my hip, a circle unbroken. Spring brought renewal. Lily started soccer, her tiny cleats muddying the hallway, cheers at games blending with Brooke's whoops. We took a family trip to Olympic National Park, hiking Hoh rainforest under moss-draped giants, Lily collecting fairy houses from ferns. Around the campfire, Esmore's sticky-fingered, she asked, "Why do you and Mama B hold hands so much?" Brooke fielded it smooth. Because love's an adventure. Like this trip, better with a partner. Nights in the tent, Lily snoring soft between us. Brooke and I stole kisses over her head, bodies pressing close in sleeping bags, passion banked but burning. "Still my wild girl," I whispered, her giggle muffled against my neck. Mornings, coffee brewed on a camp stove, we'd watch Miss Lift, planning futures, Lily's school, Brooke's next big install, my book of essays on queer kinship. But life, ever the dramatist, scripted a twist. Midsummer, a call from my doctor. Routine checkup flagged something, a shadow on the scan. Precancerous, treatable. Panic hit like a rogue wave. Brooke's face ashen when I told her over dinner. Lily at a playdate. "We'll fight it," she said, voice steel, but tears betrayed her. Consults followed, surgery, radiation, a road we'd walk hand in hand. Prep was grueling. Wills updated, childcare lined up with queer aunties from our group. Lily sensed the shift, drawing Supermama-y cards with capes and lasers. The night before surgery, Brooke bathed me in candlelight, hands gentle as she washed my hair, tears mixing with suds. "You're my everything," she murmured, toweling me dry, leading me to bed. Lovemaking was tender, reverent, kisses like talismans, bodies a vow against fear. Recovery was fog, hospital gowns, pain meds blurring edges, Brooke's vigil constant, reading aloud from Lily's favorite books, sneaking in her sketches. Lily visited, crawling onto the bed with a stuffed bear. "Beat the bad stuff, Mama." Weeks blurred, scars fading to pink lines, strength returning in increments. First walk in the park, Brooke's arm my crutch, Lily skipping ahead. "You're back." Like a superhero. Remission came clean 6 months later, a exhale held too long. We celebrated quiet, dinner on the deck, stars witnesses, Brooke's toast. To survivors. To us. Lily raised her juice box, oblivious to depths. To pancakes forever. Laughter bubbled, healing the last fissures. Now, as autumn paints the sound gold again, I reflect on that crumpled note, yellowed relic of beginnings. Brooke, 31, with laugh lines matching mine, corrals Lily, 12, through algebra woes. I paint nearby, brush dipping in gratitude's hue. Our love, no longer secret, but story, told in murals, in family albums, in the way Lily says, "My moms are the best team." From forbidden scribble to full circle grace, we've woven a tapestry resilient, radiant. And in every thread, the truth, love, once found, refuses to be lost. The gallery's hum was a living thing, murmurs rising like tide, glasses clinking, flashes from phones capturing Brooke's latest exhibit, Echoes of Ink, a series inspired by that first note, abstract swirls of black on cream resolving into embraces, words half-formed like ghosts. Lily, 15 now, tall and lanky with her mother's freckles and my dark curls, hovered at the periphery, chatting with art students her age, her braces glinting under spotlights. "Mom's killing it," she stage-whispered to a friend, pride swelling her chest like it did mine. Brooke wove through the crowd, auburn hair pinned loose, emerald dress hugging curves time had softened but not dimmed. At 37, she was a force, professor at the local college, her classes on queer narratives always oversubscribed. She found me by the wine table, slipping an arm around my waist, lips brushing my ear. "Nervous?" I asked, handing her a glass. She sipped, eyes sparkling. "About the review tomorrow?"
Nah.
"It's us on those walls." Unapologetic. We'd come far from hiding. After my health scare, Brooke had channeled fear into fuel, pushing for visibility. Podcasts on stepqueer families, essays in The Stranger about love's taboos. I'd followed, my own memoir in progress, notes from the edge, chronicling our arc from shock to sacrament. Publishers circled, but I held back. Stories like ours deserved care, not haste. Lily approached, towing a boy, tousled hair, shy grin. "Moms, this is Kai. He's in my bio lab." Brooke's mom radar pinged, but she played cool. "Nice to meet you, Kai." Admiring the ink. He nodded, blushing.
Yeah, it's
intense. Like, the way the lines bleed into each other? Represents hidden stuff coming out, right? Lily beamed, and I caught Brooke's glance. Puppy love. But we let it unfold, trusting her to navigate. The night peaked with Brooke's toast, mic in hand, voice steady. This series is for the secrets that save us. For the women who read them and chose love over fear. Applause thundered, but my eyes stung. "She means you."
us.
Afterward, in the green room, Lily hugged us fierce. "Proud," she mumbled, then dashed off with Kai for ice cream. Brooke pulled me close. "Our girl's flying." "With wings we gave her," I replied, kissing her deep, the door locked against the world. Home was quiet, Lily out late, curfew enforced, us in the hot tub again, jets rumbling like old friends. Wine warmed veins, her foot tracing my calf underwater. "Think she'll bring him around?" Brooke mused, head on my shoulder. I shrugged. "If he's good to her. Like you were to me." Her laugh vibrated through me. Was, still am. Hands roamed, water sluicing, passion reigniting slow, lips on necks, fingers dipping below belts, gasps steaming the air. We moved to bed, urgent yet unhurried, bodies a map redrawn by years, stretch marks from Lily's anti-phase. She'd insisted on calling Brooke that once, pre-clarity, laugh lines deepening with each thrust, climaxes crashing like waves we'd surfed 1,000 times. Morning brought domestic hum. Lily at the table, sketching exhibit ideas, Brooke brewing espresso, me flipping eggs. Kai's cool, Lily ventured, casual. Likes my art. Thinks I'm edgy. Brooke slid plates down. Edgy's good. Just be you. Conversation flowed to school, her coming out story fresh, shared in a GSA meeting, applause like ours at the gallery. Felt normal, she said, shrugging. Not a big deal. Pride choked me. Our battles had paved her ease. But normalcy fractured mid-fall. A school counselor called. Lily's been targeted. Notes in her locker, slurs about fag moms. Rage iced my veins. Brooke paced the kitchen. Phone clutched. We'll sue if we have to. Lily, summoned home early, shrugged it off at first. Kids being dumb. But tears betrayed her, spilling as she hugged her knees. Why now? I didn't do anything. We rallied. Meeting with the principal, demands for investigations. Brooke's network amplifying via social media. Hashtags trended, protect queer kids, and support flooded. Letters from allies, Kai's family baking pies. But the hurt lingered, Lily withdrawing into hoodies and headphones. One night, she knocked on our bedroom door, eyes red. Can I sleep here? like when I was little. We made space, her between us. Stories whispered till sleep claimed her. She's tough, Brooke murmured in the dark, hand over mine on Lily's back. Like her mom's. Healing came layered. Therapy sessions where Lily unpacked inherited fears, art classes channeling anger into abstracts fierce as Brooke's. Kai proved solid, holding her hand at a rally, his own bisexuality a bridge. And us? We leaned harder, date nights stolen, walks where fingers laced tight, reminding Lily and ourselves that love's a shield. Winter holidays shimmered with resilience. Margaret's absence a soft ache, but her bequest, a trust for Lily's college, a ghost's gift. We hosted a solstice party, queer kin filling the house, aunties with stories, kids tumbling, Brooke's mural glowing under lights. Lily danced with Kai, awkward and sweet, while I pulled Brooke to the porch. Snow dusted our hair, her kiss tasting of mulled wine. To surviving, she toasted with an imaginary glass. To thriving. Spring bloomed with Lily's art show, school-sanctioned, anti-bullying theme. Her piece, 3 figures linked, notes scribbled in the margins. Love writes back. Sold to a collector, proceeds to the GSA. Standing beside her as applause rose, Brooke's arm around my waist, I felt the circle complete. From one note's spark to a legacy of light. Summer took us to Hawaii. Volcanoes rumbling, beaches black sand soft. Lily snorkeled with Kai, chaperoned, eyes rolled, while Brooke and I hiked to lava tubes, echoes amplifying whispers. Still adventure? She asked, hand in mine on jagged rock. Always, I said, pulling her into shadow for a kiss that tasted of salt and eternity. Back home, Lily's 16th loomed, driver's ed, parties, freedoms. Ready for empty nest? Brooke teased one evening, Lily at a sleepover. I laughed, drawing her close on the couch. With you? Bring it. Lovemaking followed, playful, tickles turning to touches, her on top, riding waves of us, cries muffled in pillows. After, sated, she traced my ring. 20 years since the note. And counting, I whispered. Lily's birthday dawned bright. Keys to the old Volvo, cake layered with rainbow frosting. Be safe, Brooke admonished, hugging fierce. As she drove off, Kai's shotgun, waves through the window, Brooke leaned on me at the door. Our baby's gone. Just starting, I corrected, kissing her. Like we did. Evenings now ours again, we rediscovered rhythms. Wine tastings, gallery hops, nights lost in each other. Bodies slower but surer, love deepened by decades. Brooke's book deal came, Secret Strokes, a lesbian family memoir, with mine bundled as companion. Launches side by side, crowds hungry for truths we'd lived. Through it all, the notes stayed mantle-bound, a talisman. Lily, home for holidays, would finger it thoughtfully. This started everything. We'd nod, arms around her, and Kai, now family. From drama's grip to Grace's hold, our story whispered. Love endures, evolves, echoes eternal. Lily's college acceptance packet arrived on a Tuesday, thick as a novel, stamped UW like a homecoming. She burst through the door after school, still in high school, but dual enrolled, her ambition a fireweed fanned, waving it like a flag. Full ride, art and environmental science. Brooke swept her into a bear hug, spinning till dizzy, while I clapped, tears pricking. At 18, Lily was a mosaic of us, Brooke's passion, my quiet steel, hazel eyes that saw worlds in waves. Dinner that night was celebratory, crab legs steamed, champagne popped, sparkling cider for Lily. To horizons, Brooke toasted, glass raised, her laugh lines crinkling. Kai, now a fixture, linked arms with Lily across the table. You'll crush it, he said, his own MIT letter fresh. But beneath cheers, a undercurrent, change's bittersweet tide. Packing commenced weekends, boxes labeled with sharp dreams, books, supplies, memories. Brooke unearthed the note from storage, slipping it into Lily's keepsake trunk.
Take this.
Your origin story. Lily traced the faded ink, smirking. Cringe now, but cute. You two were doomed. We laughed, but her eyes softened. Gratitude for the legacy. Summer waned hot, Kai's family hosting barbecues where Lily shone, grilling veggies with flair. Brooke and I stole moments, a weekend getaway to the San Juans, ferry rocking us to islands green as emeralds. In our cabin, rain drumming tin roof, we walked beaches strewn with driftwood, collecting pieces for sculptures. Empty nest rehearsals, Brooke quipped, tossing a heart-shaped log my way. I caught it, pulling her down to sand. Practice makes perfect. Kisses salty, hands urgent under sundresses. We tumbled into passion. Waves crashing counterpoint to our rhythms, release a roar matching the sea. Fall loomed. Door move-in a countdown. Lily's nerves surfaced in snits, snapping over laundry, slamming doors. What if I fail? She confessed one night, curled on the couch like the girl who'd once feared bullies. Brooke stroked her hair. Failure's just plot twist. You've got us in your back pocket. I added. And that note? Proof love finds its way. Move-in day dawned crisp, UW campus buzzing with freshman carts and parental tears. Lily's room, cozy quad, views of the quad, filled quick, posters of colo and climate activists, her trunk unpacked with care. Kai helped, lugging amps for her indie band side hustle. Hugs goodbye lingered. Lily clung extra, whispering, love you both. Call every day. Twice, Brooke fibbed, winking. Drive home silent at first, then Brooke's hand on my knee. We did good. Tears came then, hot and unbidden. Our baby's flown. Dinner was takeout, empty chairs mocking, but we talked, plans for travel, a joint art retreat in Mexico. Bed that night, bodies seeking solace. Her mouth on my breast, fingers curling deep, my nails raking her back, climaxes chasing away voids. Weeks adjusted uneven. Calls came nightly, Lily's rants on cafeteria food, triumphs in studio critiques. Kai visits weekends, she'd say, coy. We visited too, tailgates and lectures, her world expanding ours. Brooke dove into a new project, interactive installations on family fluidity, crowdsourced stories echoing ours. My book launched, Notes from the Edge, a quiet hit, readings where couples approached. Your story gave us courage. Holiday break flew Lily home, Kai in tow, official now, rings glinting on chains. Not yet, she grinned, but soon. Family dinners swelled, Margaret's absence filled by stories, her trust funding Lily's abroad semester in Costa Rica. New Year's, fireworks over the sound, we four toasted, to futures braided. Spring brought Brooke's exhibit in NYC, a homecoming of sorts. We flew, Lily meeting us post-exams, Kai tagging for research. The city pulsed, galleries gleaming, Brooke's work, immersive rooms of projected notes, visitors tracing paths to embrace, stations, drawing raves. After party, Lily danced with strangers. Brooke and I slipped to the roof, skyline glittering. Proud, she asked, arms around me. Beyond. Love there was fierce. Back to hotel. Elevator kisses escalating. Door barely shut before clothes shed, her on knees, my hands in hair. Then bed a tangle of limbs, moans echoing urban night. Summer postgrad, Lily interned at a Seattle nonprofit, climate art for at-risk youth, living home, rhythm returning but evolved. Dinners for again, Kai's stories blending seamless. One evening over salmon, she dropped the bomb. I'm non-binary. They slash them now. Kai's the first I told. Silence brief, then hugs. Brooke's perfect. Mine always you. We adjusted fluid. Pronouns practiced. Love unwavering. Fall saw Lily off to Costa Rica. Solo adventure. Airport tears flowed, but pride tempered. Backpack stuffed with a note photocopy. Journal for sketches. Calls spotty. Jungle signal weak, but postcards arrived. vibrant with toucans and tides. Found my voice. Miss you. Empty nest true now. Brooke and I bloomed wild. A sabbatical synced ours. Road trip down Highway 1, camper van rumbling, stops at Big Sur for cliffside picnics. Nights parked under stars, bodies bare on blankets, fingers and tongues exploring like newlyweds, her gasps in cool air, my name a chant, afterglows pondering lilies echoes in our veins. Mexico retreat followed, Oaxaca's colors exploding, workshops blending our styles, her bold strokes, my subtle seas. Evenings in Zocalo, mezcal warming, dancing close, hips swaying sync. One night, hacienda room with tile floors cool, we made love by candlelight, slow, sacred, her strap a new rhythm. Gift from Lily's think outside the box nudge, thrusts deep, eyes locked, release shattering like pottery. Home for holidays, Lily returned sun-kissed, tales of sloth sanctuaries and queer collectives. Brought someone, she said shyly, Jade, a local artist from the program, dreads and dimples, they slash them too. Dinner welcoming, laughter easy, Kai understanding, amicable split, friends forever. New Year's Eve, as midnight struck, Brooke pulled me to the deck, fireworks blooming. 30 years, she whispered. Notes anniversary. Ring glinted. Our bands entwined now. To every page. Lily and Jade joined, arms linked chain. From duo to quartet, our story sprawled. Branches, not linear. Lily's wedding came spring, Jade's hand in theirs. Garden ceremony with ocean view. Vows echoed ours. I choose you in all forms. Brooke and I, best people, teared through toasts. From a note to this, I said, raising glass. Love's longest letter. Grandkids? Someday, perhaps, adopted dreams anew. For now, we three, plus, thrive. Lily's murals citywide, Brooke's tenure, my second book brewing. The original note? Passed to Lily's trunk, stories seed for generations. In quiet mornings, Brooke's head on my pillow, I trace her face, still the girl who dreamed my touch. Our love, epic, enduring, a drama resolved in daily devotions, proving secrets bloom to symphonies, if we dare read on. The rain hadn't let up in days, a relentless Seattle gray that mirrored the fog in my mind as I sorted through boxes in the attic. Richard's old fishing gear, Brooke's high school yearbooks, Lily's baby clothes folded neat as memories. At 55, joints protesting ladders, I paused on a photo album, dust motes dancing in the beam from a bare bulb. There we were, Brooke and I at 20 and 42, arms around a toddler Lily at the zoo, grins wide, oblivious to storms ahead. Time's cruel editor, cutting youth, but pasting wisdom. Downstairs, the house hummed with life. Brooke on a call with her department head, voice animated about a guest lecture series on queer ecologies, her passion undimmed at 43. Lily, 23, crashed on the couch post-flight from Costa Rica, Jade curled beside them, jet-lagged whispers trading travel tales. Our home, once a duo's refuge, now a hub, kids rotating through, Jade's art supplies mingling with ours, Kai's occasional visits, like extended family reunions. Dinner was potluck chaos, Jade's empanadas spicy as their stories, Lily's salad crisp, Brooke's chowder steaming. Laughter layered over loss, Margaret 5 years gone, but her recipes lingered. To full tables, Brooke toasted, foot nudging mine under cloth, a code for later. Lily raised glass. And fuller hearts. Post-meal, Jade shyly unveiled a gift, a collaborative piece, their ink on my canvas, tropical vines entwining waves, symbols of blended worlds. For hosting my chaos, they said, dimples flashing. Hugs followed, then the young ones retreated to Lily's old room, giggles filtering down. Brooke arched brow at me over dishes. Empty nest?
Ha.
I dried a plate, smirking. Upgraded to compound. Bedtime found us in the tub, bubbles foaming, her back to my chest, my hands soaping shoulders tense from admin woes. Lecture series booked, she sighed, relaxing into touch. Fingers trailed lower, circles on belly, dipping to thighs. Stress relief. I murmured, nipping earlobe. She turned, water sloshing, straddling, kiss wet, hungry, hands gripping edges as she rocked, my mouth on breasts, gasps echoing tile. Climax rippled, her head thrown back, then mine as fingers curled true. After, towels wrapped, we scrolled Lily's photos, rainforest canopies, Jade's hand in theirs on zip lines. They're solid, Brooke said, pride thick. Like us. Sleep came easy, her breath steady against my neck. Morning brought news. Lily's grant for a joint exhibit with Jade, Seattle Art Fair, theme, Intersections of Identity. We're framing the note, Lily announced over coffee, eyes alight. Centerpiece. With your blessing. Heart stuttered, that fragile paper, vessel of our beginning, now public artifact. Brooke squeezed my hand. Ours to share. Prep consumed weeks. Studio sessions where Lily's bold lines met Jade's fluid forms, Brooke consulting on lighting, me chronicling in sketches. Tensions flared, creative clashes, Lily's perfectionism clashing Jade's flow, but we mediated, drawing from our own early phrase. Breathe, I'd say, echoing Brooke's words from years back. Evenings, decompressions with wine and walks. Kai joining for game nights, his engineering tales grounding art's whirl. Fair opening loomed, nerves electric. Dress rehearsal, Lily in tailored vest, Jade in flowing kaftan, the note encased in plexi, spotlit like a relic. Crowd projected, critics, collectors, queer icons. What if they hate it? Lily fretted, pacing. Brooke pulled them close. They won't. It's truth. Opening night, gallery pulsed, champagne flutes, murmurs appreciative. The installation, walls alive with projections of handwritten confessions anonymized, ours redacted. Converging on the notes case, audio loops of voices, ours included, masked, whispering, I choose. Lily and Jade's speech tag teamed. This is intersection, love, land, legacy. Applause crashed, sales buzzed. Post-reception, high on validation, the four of us hit a dive bar, shots of tequila, toast sloppy. Lily leaned on Jade, eyes soft. You make me braver. Kai, nursing beer, grinned at Brooke. Your kid's a star. Home late, Lily and Jade crashed guest room. Brooke and I stumbled to ours, shedding clothes in hall, collapsing laughing. To prodigies, she gasped, me atop, thighs parting, rhythm building slow then frantic, nails, bites, release shuddering shared. Dawn filtered, hangover mild, family brunch sprawling. Exhibit smashed, Lily reported, phone pinging offers. Jade blushed at praise. But under joy a shadow, Jade's visa expiring soon, artist fellowship ending. What then? Brooke asked gentle. Lily's face fell. Fight it. Like you did. We rallied, lawyer referrals, petition letters, Brooke's network lobbying. Vigils formed, stage aid trending local. Tension peaked court date, Lily pacing courthouse hall, Jade's hand trembling in theirs. We waited outside, Brooke's head on my shoulder. History rhymes, she murmured. Verdict, extension granted, cheers echoing marble. Celebration dinner, our kitchen, candles flickering, toasts to tenacity. Lily pulled me aside later. Thanks for modeling this. The fight. Kiss on cheek, then to Jade. Brooke and I cleaned, suds flying, her hip bumping, mine playful. Proud parent mode? I teased. Always. Now, upstairs, your turn. Bed was haven. Lights low, her mouth trailing fire down spine. Fingers and tongue a duet that arch me bow taut. Cries stifled for sleeping house. Reciprocation fervent. Her on belly, my hands spreading, tongue delving deep. Her pleas a music I'd never tire. Afterglow, spoons, she whispered. Our circle widens. Scary, beautiful. Winter deepened, holidays hybrid. Lily/Jade to Jade's family in Toronto, us to Kai's for a night, his wedding next spring, us walking him down aisle with Lily. New Year solo, just us. Fireplace crackling, note on mantle glowing. 40 years. Brooke marveled, pulling me to rug. Slow dance to Coltrane, clothes shedding graceful, bodies joining fluid, missionary intimate, eyes locked, thrusts measured, climaxes sinking soft. Spring burst. Kai's wedding vineyard vowed, Lily best person, us teary witnesses. Full circle, Brooke whispered as rings exchanged. Reception dance till dawn, us stealing slow turns, her in my arms eternal. Summer, Lily announced. Jade and I adopting. Process started. Shock, joy, grandparenting young. Our turn to spoil. I laughed, hugging. Prep mirrored ours. Home studies, classes, nerves electric. Fall fair repeat. Lily/Jade's follow-up. Notes sequel with baby booty sketched. Success snowballed. Family expanding. Through it all, our core held. Brooke's lectures inspiring. My book tour cities conquered together. Nights reclaiming each other. Love's language fluent. From whispers to roars. The note? Lily's now, but its echo in every embrace. Love, once sparked, illuminates forever. Grandbaby arrived on a equinox dawn. Sky streaked pink over the sound as Brooke and I paced hospital halls, coffee gone cold in styrofoam. Lily's texts updated frantic. Pushing. Jade's a rock. At 59, my heart raced like a girl's. Memories of Lily's birth, adoption ceremony, but the weight eternal, flooding back. Brooke gripped my hand, knuckles white. Our legacy, she breathed, eyes bright. The call came. It's a boy. Elias Jade, Eli. Nursery window framed him. Dark fuzz, fists tiny, Lily's hazel in miniature. Jade, exhausted radiant, kissed his crown. Lily sobbed happy into our hugs. You did it, Brooke whispered, arm around them. Names honored. Elias for Margaret's middle, Jade's surname woven. Homecoming parade. Our house festooned blue, gender neutral, per Lily. King crowding, Kai's crew, Jade's Toronto transplants via Zoom. Eli's Wales first night pierced, but we tag-teamed, Brooke rocking, me burping, Lily nursing in corner chair. Team Grandma, Lily joked, eyes ringed fatigue. Jade brewed tea, for the village. Days dissolved into newborn blur. Diapers daisy-chained, bottles warmed, Eli's cou's a drug. Brooke, retired partial from teaching, dove grandparent deep, singing Spanish lullabies, her heritage gift, sketching portraits already. I easel dusted off post-tour, painted nursery murals, tide pools teeming, safe harbors. Lily and Jade snatched naps, gratitude thick. You too, anchors. Week 3, crisis pinged, Eli's fever spiked, pediatrician rush. Our lights harsh, tests whirring, Lily's face ashen as doctors murmured, infection, treatable. Brooke held Jade, me Lily, waiting room of vigil of vending machine coffee and clasped hands. Hours later, clear. Antibiotics, home. Relief crashed, tears cathartic. That night, Eli stable in bassinet, we 4 collapsed living room. Lily on Jade, us entwined on couch. Scary, Lily admitted. But we got this. Brooke kissed my temple. Like always. Rhythm settled. Rotations. Eli's milestones marked. First smile at Brooke's rattle shake. Grip clutching my finger. Lily's exhibit toured nationally. Jade freelancing murals. Us free for beach days. Eli and Carrier. Sandcastles built. One outing. Waves lapping. Brooke chased gulls. Eli gurgling on blanket. Look at us, I said, snapping photo. From 2 to this. Fall brought Eli's dedication. Queer blessing circle. Park pavilion ringed rainbows. Vows collective. We raise you in love's many colors. Kai godparent. Toasting to little adventurers. After picnic sprawl, Eli passed like trophy, laughter healing old fractures. Winter holidays amplified, tree trimmed with Eli's inaugural ornament, tiny note replica, blank for a story. Margaret's ghost warmed, her recipe book gifted Lily, pages dog-eared. New Year's, babes asleep, Brooke and I on deck, mulled wine steaming. 60 next, she teased, tracing jaw. Still hot. Laugh bubbled, her pull to bedroom urgent, door soft shut, clothes peeled reverent, bodies mapping changes, softer curves, slower builds, but fire undimmed. Oral lingered, her thighs quaking under tongue, then strap play gentle, rocks building to shared peak, after whispers of forever. Spring, Eli crawled, chaos ensuing, gates installed, toys migrating. Lily's book deal. Interwoven lines, collab with Jade, forward hours. Signings synced family trips, Portland launch, Margaret's grave visited, daisies laid. She'd love this, Lily said, Eli on hip. Summer heatwave, we escaped cabin and Cascades, lakeside, Eli splashing shallows under watch. Nights, porch swing creaking, Brooke's head in lap, fingers combing hair. Grandma suits you, I murmured. She grinned up.
Ditto.
Now, inside, Eli's out cold. Love-making lakeside hushed, her on-lap facing, slow grinds, moon witness, releases muffled in kisses. Fall, Eli's first steps. Wobbly to Lily, then Jade, us cheering from floor. Video looped endless, pride viral in family chat. Lily's TEDx invite. From secret notes to open hearts. Rehearsals home. Eli babbling back up, us critics loving. Winter again, Eli's second birthday. Park party, cake smeared face, gifts piled. As dusk fell, Lily pulled us aside. Moving out. Apartment nearby, Jade's gig local. Ache sweet. Nest emptying, but branches strong. Hugs tight, keys exchanged next week. Empty-ish, house echoed first nights, but we filled. Date to opera, Seattle symphony swells, her hand thigh through intermission. Home, inspired, bed a stage, silk scarves binding wrists light, sensations heightened, her whimpers as I teased, then free hands roaming wild, climaxes crashing operatic. Spring renewal, Lily's talk streamed, views soaring, offers flooding. Eli toddled visits daily, chaos cherished. Brooke's legacy project, queer archive donation, our papers included, note digitized, story preserved. Summer road trip, van packed, Eli boosterbound, for generations echo, photos of Richard along. Route 66 reverse, deserts blooming, Eli's awe at cacti dino trees. Stops intimate, motel nights, young ones bunked, us reclaiming, shower steam, bodies slick, fingers urgent, gasps echoing tile. Fall exhibit, archive opening, note centerpiece, crowds reverent. Lily keynote, Eli on stage waving. This, she said, is how secrets become seeds. Through seasons our love anchored. Brooke's 50th surprise, hot air balloon dawn, basket sway, her scream joy as earth shrank. Landing picnic, champagne fizz, then field tryst, blanket spread, sun warm, her atop fervent, earth tilting with us. Eli's third, zoo outing, giraffe kisses his gamma bee, tugging hearts. Lily's pregnancy announce, surprise IVF success. Sibling for Eli. Joy doubled, us planning anti-spoilage. Winter wedding, Kai's us officiating, vows we'd penned. Love chooses, I intoned, Brooke's eyes misty. New Year, Eli's fourth, Snow Angel's backyard, his laughter purest. Lily's book tour, us minding Eli/Jade tag team, rediscovering tandem parenting, sleepless, but soulful. Spring birth, sister, Mira, star-named, Kai's assist. Hospital vigil redux, but grandparents now, holding tiny both. Summer splash pads, Mira swaddled, Eli splashing. Brooks retirement full, travel beckons, Italy penciled, easels shared. Fall harvest, family photos for adults, 2 tots, no prop. Lilies from this all. Love's arc, from Hook's shock to Harmony's hum, our drama a symphony, notes resolving sweet. Myra's cries pierce the pre-dawn hush like a siren song, but by now, at 63, I'd mastered the art of zombie navigation, stumble from bed, Brooks' arm dragging reluctant, to Lily's apartment 3 blocks over, key under matter secret. Your turn, she'd mumble, rolling away, but truth was we both rose, drawn to the grand BB siren call. Eli, 5, snored oblivious in his room. Mira, 1, demanded duo duty. Lily's place smelled of fresh paint and baby powder, Jade's latest mural half done, Ocean's cradling cribs. We tag-teamed, Brooke bottle warming, me rocking Myra's fussy form, her tiny fist clutching my necklace, Brooke's wedding band, threaded now. Greedy girl. I cooed, her gurgles easing to sighs. Lily stumbled in, hair wild, gratitude etched. Saviors. Jade, brewing coffee, hugged us weary. Coffee for. Dawn light filtered, Eli patting sleepy-eyed. Gammas. Chaos breakfast. Pancake sticky, stories spun of our wild youth. Lily laughed, Mira on lap. Tell the note tale again. Routine now, but each telling layered. The find, the fear, the fire, ending always, and here we are. Back home, shower steam cleared heads, Brooke joining mid-lather, hands soaping back. Early bird special? She teased, lips on shoulder. Water cascaded, her fingers slipping front, circles teasing till knees buckled, my hand bracing wall as release quaked. Turnabout fair, her against tile, my mouth kneeled, tongue fervent, her cries echoing drain. Day unfolded leisurely. Brooke to volunteer archive, sorting queer ephemera, her passion archival now. Me to studio, canvas calling, series on generations tied, figures cascading from notes silhouette. Lunch walk, Pike Place bustle, salmon tossing, her arm linked. Italy booked, she announced, tickets burning pocket. 2 weeks, just us. Afternoon brought Eli/Mira drop, Lily's grant meeting, Jade's client call. Park romp, Eli's kite soaring, Mira grass plucking, us bench sitting, hands laced. Full life, Brooke sighed content. Ours. Evening family dinner. Kai's crew joined, his partner Lena, engineer-artist hybrid, table groaning Italian practice, pasta al dente. Toasts to Myra's firsts, Eli's kindergarten tales. Post-bedtime, BB's carted home. Adults lingered, wine flowing, games escalating to truths, Kai's coming out redux, Lily's imposter pangs. You paved, he said, clinking our glasses. Hugs deep, young ones departing, house quieting. Bed called, but Italy dreams first, packing list scribbled, guides poured. Rome, then Amalfi. Brooke plotted, maps spread on duvet. Her distraction waned as I traced thigh. Focus, I murmured, lips following. Night deepened exploratory, feathers from costume box, Lily's old dress-up, trails tickling soles, inner arms, gasps building to bear urgency, bodies joining camelot, slow rocks to frenzy, peaks plural, sleep claimed entwined. Italy dawned eternal, FCO airport bustle, espresso kick, train to Rome rattling scenic. Hotel overlooking forum, balcony breakfast cornetti flaky. Days wandered, Colosseum shadows, Vatican frescoes awing, gelato melting on tongues. Evenings trattoria, pasta twirled, her foot table-tapping mine. One night, Trevi tossed coins, return promise. Then Ali strolled to room, passion igniting, silk from market scarves binding eyes, senses heightened, her guidance verbal velvet, my compliance yielding to commands, release blindfolded bliss. Amalfi Coast curved cliffside, lemons golden, sea azure. Villa rented, infinity pool merging horizon. Mornings swam nude, bodies buoyant. Her chase through waves ending pin to edge. Kisses brined, hands underwater exploring till breath ragged. Afternoons hiked path of gods, vistas stealing breath, picnics prosciutto-laced. Evenings terrace dinners, stars pricking, love-making lazy. Lounger creaking, her astride moonlit, rhythms tidal, cries carried on breeze. Return jet-lagged but glowing, BB's welcome tackle. Missed you. Eli yelled, Mira babbling arms up. Story swapped. Italy's glories, their zoo trips. Life resumed amplified, Lily's exhibit extension, Jade's solo show. Fall foliage tour. Drive to Leavenworth, Bavarian village crisp, Eli/Mira bundled, leaves crunching. Cider mill stops, pumpkin patches, hayrides jolting laughs. In night, young ones bunked adjacent. A soaking tub clawfoot, bubbles effervescent, her between legs, fingers and tongue a duet submerged, water sloshing climax. Winter solstice circle, park fire pit, can gathered, Eli's stories dramatic, Mira clapping flames. Gifts exchanged, notes replica engraved for Lily/Jade's mantle. Home, cocoa steaming, BB's down, Brooke pull me to studio. Your turn. Easel unveiled. Portrait us, aged graceful, note in frame. Tears welled. Masterpiece. Gratitude turned carnal, paint smeared hands on skin, colors streaking, bodies canvas, thrusts bold strokes, release abstract ecstasy. New Year resolution. Wellness pact, yoga classes synced, hikes weekly. Spring burst buds, Myra's steps wobbly to us, Eli's soccer goals cheered. Lily's pregnancy glow round 2, another niece/nephew, we guessed, ultrasound shared. Summer camp for littles, Eli/Mira week away, us reclaiming, sailing sound, wind whipping, her at tiller, me lines hauling. Cabin nights, fire crackling, storytelling nude, touches kindling to blaze, oral marathons, her quivers under ministration, reciprocal fervor, afterglows stargazing. Fall harvest fest, farm stand, pumpkins carved Eli's design, note-shaped, clever. Lily's book 2 announced, forward Brooks. Readings intimate, crowds intimate. Winter wedding, Lily/Jade vow renewal, 10 years, beach sunset, Eli ring bearer, Mira flower toss erratic. Vows refreshed, still choosing. Reception danced barefoot, a slow waltzing sand. Spring birth, Theo, Kai/Lena's, blonde tuft, cries lusty. Hospital hold, family chain, love multiplying. Summer reunion, beach house rented, all under one roof, BB's tumbling, adults grilling, night's porch swings, Brooks headlap, fingers idly tracing. Epic, she sighed.
Ours.
Through cycles, note spirit, from private pulse to public pulse, love's narrative ever unfolding, hearts its endless ink.